Let's do it like we do it for TV. Welcome to another episode of We Need Each Other Podcast, the most intimate podcast on the internet. I'm going to get my co-host. Going to have a lovely, going to have a lovely show today. Miss Kayla Dayla, I see you. I see you already in the building. So without further, we have an awesome talk. Should I do the light? I think that might be a little too much, but let's try it. I kind of like it. What's up? What's up? Shout out to everybody in the building. Drum roll for the lovely co-host, Miss Kayla Dayla Cruz.
Hello.
What's up? What's up?
Hi, everyone.
Wait to everyone. We got a great group just to start it off. We got a great group already.
Everybody's
jumping in
early.
early.
Everyone's pulling up. Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday.
Yes.
Happy April.
Happy April.
I feel great. Well, now I feel great because an hour ago, them cramps were killing me. I feel great now. I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. I want to start off by saying you look lovely.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And
nice shirt. I like that shirt.
Amen. But yeah, we have a great talk. But without further ado, I want to start out the podcast, the show, with just a prayer, just to open it up. Let's see, get our mindset correctly. And we just want to thank God for this time. Thank God for bringing us together on this beautiful podcast. We don't take for granted that we can just turn on the internet or turn on our Instagram app and share love with the people. And God actually guide our minds, guide our hearts, and guide our lips to say things out of love and not out of fear. Allow our words translate beautifully to the public. God, please bless our guests as they come on and they share their stories and know that we're truly grateful for them. Allow us to touch the hearts of the people in the most amazing way and let these words translate as a true act of love.
Amen.
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 Shout
out to God.
Shout out to God. Yo, I thought it was just great to open up the podcast like that in terms of mind state. So let's set the stage. I think that's super duper important.
Absolutely. All glory, all praise to him for sure.
Yes. Be very intentional. Okay, so with this talk, we titled this talk Like, Love, and Lust. And me and you, we was talking about this talk for a few weeks, and we knew it was going to be really important. But this talk really hit home about 2 weeks ago for me. I was at church, right? And when I was sitting in church, the pastor had an amazing sermon. He was like, hey, he said, the title of his, I shouldn't play with God. The title of his sermon was, the title of his sermon was, we know about the house of God, but we don't know the God of the house. And what translated for me in terms of we know church, but we don't actually know God, to have a real relationship. So like so many people go into church and they join the choir, they do the baptisms, they know the scriptures, they know the sayings, God is good all the time, and
all the time God is good.
Amen. So I wanted to translate to our talk in terms of just basically knowing the feeling of it, wanting the feeling of it, but not actually having the relationship with it. Going to church, but not actually having a relationship with God. And I wanted to correlate in terms of that dating world. And I want you to just talk about that real quick, how that correlates between when people just go through the motions, but don't know what it takes to really have a relationship. So.
Yeah, it's a great comparison to people who are lonely, right? People just go on dates or just want to meet someone just to have someone next to them. But they don't really necessarily like that person. It's like they want to go through the rituals of being in a relationship. Like, oh, let's go on dates. Like, send me a good morning text, send me a good night text, check in. Even some people like just do it to be intimate with other people because they're trying to fill that void and that hole that they have. But it all comes down to, I don't even really like the person I'm doing it with. I'm just liking the things that I'm doing. And similar to, I remember one time somebody said, she was engaged and then they broke off the engagement. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's like, no, like, I'm not sad about it. I just wanted the wedding. I didn't want to marry him. I just wanted the wedding. I wanted the celebration. I wanted our family and friends to come together. I wanted the ring. I wanted the dress. And I'm like, so you didn't want him? You just wanted everything that came with the wedding? And at that point, it didn't even matter who she was marrying. It's just she wanted the wedding.
Mm.
With
And that ties in perfectly to just like what it is to actually like someone, actually be in love with someone, or just be lusting after someone. And I had broke down when I was writing, I broke down this definition for me, and I kind of want your definition also. But I said, yo, like that symbolized you just kind of just on the surface, just like something, you know. It may not be actually for your greater good. It may not even be healthy for you. I just like the way it kind of smells, but it may not be healthy. I like the way this kind of tastes, and it may be trash. Love for me was a relationship that indicates an ongoing relationship. Love indicates I've done it more than once. So, you know, I've ate this so many times that every time I smell it, I love it. It's not the first time, it's actually a relationship with it. And for me, lust was the symbolization. It's like what it symbolizes. It's kind of like just it's a pleasing to my senses. It's like I don't care what kind of car it is. I don't know the makeup of the car. I don't even know about the car. I just know it's an expensive car. So I want it as a symbol. It's like lust. She looks like
you
a
just
good
want
wife.
it.
I just want it. Just because it just looks good. She looks like a good wife, but I don't know if she actually is.
Right.
So just lusting after someone. So there's like, love, and lust.
But I
Say,
think
what's
it's
the
also
definition?
I think it's also important to point out the difference between in love and loving someone. Like you can love anyone, right? Like you can love your friends. I remember like going on vacation in January and I met all these new friends. And at the end of our trip, we spent like a week together and it's like, oh, have a safe trip. Like, oh my God, I love you guys. That doesn't mean you're in love with them. So it's really important to break that down. You can literally be in a relationship with someone. It's like, I like them, I love them, I'm lusting over them, but question if you're in love or not. So and to me, that ties to self-awareness. And I'll dive into that a little bit more when our two guests join. But all of the three, the like, the love, and the lust, all tie into self-awareness. You have to really know who you are, what you like, and what you don't like. Mic drop.
Say that. Say, yo. And I do want to explore that because that's all part of it too. I remember as we started this talk a couple weeks ago, we was on the phone. He was talking about someone, basically, I love you, but you may not be actually in love with someone. Or I've actually loved you because I've just known you for so long. We've been in this relationship so long, but I get to a point where I don't even like you really.
Right.
You're not really, it's like, yes, I love you just by default because we've been together for 8 years, but I no longer like your personality.
I love the routine that we have built. Right. Woo. And for me, they say love is stronger than like, but for me, I can be in love with a man, and the moment that I dislike him or dislike his core values and his personality, characteristics, whatever you want to call them, that's going to make me drift away from the relationship and him. Like, I can still love you, and I'll learn to unlove you. But once I dislike you, it's over. Like, I cannot be with someone that I do not like. So.
And I wanted to, we wanted to just bring other people to get a great perspective, a male and a female perspective. So we got two people that we're really going to just throw some questions at them and kind of see how it is. But that is tough, being in a place where, like you said, how do you say it? I like the routine or what we built. How did you say that?
Like I like the routine that we built together. And some people, it's out of fear too. Like nobody wants to start over, especially because this dating pool nowadays is full of pee. Like straight urine. Nobody wants to start over. So people are, So people are staying in certain situations that they're really unhappy. And it's because of that fear. And also you're just, used to that person. And it's hard. Imagine being with somebody for a decade. I'm not saying that it's right. Like you should not stay in situations that you don't want to be in or toxic or unhealthy. But can you just imagine trying to break that cycle and trying to fall into a new routine? That is difficult. So it ties into self-awareness. Everything. All relates to self-awareness.
I love that. That's self-awareness. I realized in my relationship, I want a little bit of each. Of course, I want to actually genuinely
Absolutely.
I want to pick up the phone. I want to genuinely smile when I'm talking to you. I think, like I said, love that denotes the relationship. I think as time goes on, it's kind of like, whoo, I can smell you a mile away. I just love the way you smell because I've been smelling for so long. It's that recognizable. Or I love the way you're making me smile. But on the other side, I want somebody to lust over me too. So just love the symbol. Like he looks like the part. He looks like a great husband. Or I'm still lusting after him, even in a sexual way.
Yeah.
I want my woman to look at me and look at her lips and drool a little bit.
Right. And I'm going to dive in a little bit about lust because I feel like it's viewed as a negative and like sinful word, like, oh my God, we're lusting over each other, that's a sin. But once our two amazing guests join us, I will dive in a little bit more into that. And talking about our guests, I want to mention that this is, I mean, every episode is special, but this episode is extra special because it's the first time we're gonna have two people, another male and another female, all at the same time. So yeah, it's not gonna really be like a traditional guest speaker interview. It's gonna be more so a conversation with friends, similar to a panel, and we just ask each other questions and share opinions and perspectives.
Absolutely, yo. I'm excited, yo. I had a talk with one of the guests, Karina, and she gave me so much insight. I kind of want to spill that, and I just told her, hold on, just save it for the podcast.
Say what?
But she has some great points. Save it for the podcast. That's my favorite line. I'll be on the phone, and we have a great podcast over the phone. I'll be like, hold on, save it for the podcast.
He'd be like, wait, just save it for the podcast.
Save it for the podcast. Yo, first, I want to give a shout out to everyone who pulled up to the chat. Everyone who's in the building already. Y'all showing love in the most beautiful way. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you.
Everybody, y'all appreciate it.
Y'all appreciate it. So yo, real quick, without further, I definitely saw. I
think I see them both.
Okay, cool. Hold on. Let me send the invites without further ado. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. So real quick, we're gonna give a big drum roll as they come in for the two lovely guests. Go by the name of Hector and Karina. Drum roll, yeah!
We look like a poppin' ass group chat, okay? We are poppin'.
How y'all doing?
Hello, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. I deeply appreciate it. You want to hear the opinion of little old me?
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us, guys.
Yes. Real quick, I just want you guys to introduce yourself, just a name, and what do you do in your relationship status?
You putting them on the spot.
I know, right? Like, why we gotta get that nitty-gritty? My name is Karina. I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. I'm a licensed family therapist. I work with children and adults alike, pretty much just to maintain balance and be happy. I am single, but happily single. So
say that. Heck, what's up, my brother? How you doing, bro?
How you doing?
I'm chilling.
Yeah, I'm 34. I work in the HVAC industry. And I would never be single. I met my person a long. Yeah, I'm a lifer. Yeah, I met my person a long time ago. So
yeah. Yo, what a jewel it is to have y'all. Just real quick to allow us to pick your brains and give us perspectives. And sometimes we have a great perspective between me and Kayla, but to have two additional people, a male and a female, to kind of add to the conversation is really amazing. So shout out to y'all first and foremost.
Thank you for having me. Having us.
Amen. So
my internet.
So real quick.
My internet was glitching. Sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yo, if you can't hear us for anything, it's okay to just ask us to repeat it. If we come in a little buzzy, a little fuzzy, you can just raise your hand and say, "I'm sorry, I didn't hear you." It's cool.
No worries.
Right. Cool. Yo,
Okay, mic check.
I want to say.
Mic check.
You good?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
All right. So I want to say we note ourselves as being the internet's most intimate podcast. So this is the space where I do want y'all kind of be intimate and kind of share some of the things that are kind of on your heart, because often we don't hear these viewpoints from a real vulnerable standpoint. Sometimes these viewpoints are really made up and they're kind of commercialized, but people really need to hear these talks. There are real people who fall out of love, or people who are in a relationship for years and years and years, and then you say, I don't like my person. What do you do at that point? So we want to hear that real thing. So real quick, first, I want to say ladies first. Kayla, do you have some questions? I know I tend to talk a lot real quick. You want to start it off?
Sure. I just want so first of all, again, thank you guys so much for joining. You know, this means so much to us because We Need Each Other podcast is the definition of this. Sharing perspectives from both the female and male lens And it's a special episode because we have an extra female, an extra male. So thank you guys for being here. Number one. Number two, I just want to hear from the both of you guys. What do you think like, love, and lust is? Like, how do you define each word, each term?
I don't know. Who would you like to hear first?
Whoever's ready.
You go first. Yeah.
I would, when we start off with like, I think it's more or less you just enjoy the person's company, whether it be because of how, you know, they think or what they do. Maybe you have common interests, but it's really superficial. It's not meant to be taken like super, super deep. You just more or less enjoy like having that person around when you have a special event, or if you have some news that you want to share, you know, saying this is a person that pops into your head. Now, when I think about lust, I think about just simply the five senses. I think about like the way that somebody stimulates you, either how they look, or maybe there's something about the sound of their voice that maybe is sensual to you, maybe their touch, maybe how their body is. But nonetheless, there's a chemistry, a physical chemistry there that like giving a rumor an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, it's on and popping. But love, I feel like it takes a lot more time. And but I also think it really depends on a lot of people I've met define love very differently. Sometimes it has to do with where they are in their lives at the moment and how that person fills a particular void that they are struggling with. Or for me personally, it's very similar to the definitions I have with my family, where who accepts you truly as you are, flaws and all, who is consistently like showing up. And even if they aren't showing up physically, are they still making their presence, you know, support to you, you know, cheering you on in the background? You genuinely want to see each other grow.
Like that.
And also, you know, they are committed to doing this with you regardless of what trials and tribulations come your way. So I think love is, especially when you're talking like on a deep long-term commitment, involves an exchange. So it's 50% of knowing who you are, presenting that wholly, and then on the flip side, really seeing and understanding, accepting the other person that you see. Because just like you had mentioned earlier, a lot of times people, what I call, are putting squares into circles, whether it's because they're really lonely, or they are committed to, they've been in the lust category for so long that they're committed to make this work, even if it means that they have to negotiate something to make it fit and make it, you know, kind of seem. So like I said, like is just more or less just who makes you happy and who you just kind of enjoy to be around. Even if it's something superficial. Lust, I feel like, is just primarily your five senses and has little to do with morals, showing up, etc., etc. And then love itself is more of that, I'm completely transparent like glass, you are completely transparent like glass, and we still, when we mold together, are, you know, we're one, and we just, you know, support each other. We have that exchange through good, through bad, up and down, etc.
Like that. Yo, Heck, before you go real quick, yo, Heck, before you go, we need some advice from you. I'm going to switch it up real quick. Because you said you've been a lifer, right? I'm sure there's been times in your relationship where you say you love this person, but you go through a hill where you don't like that person. You don't like that person. How do you actually go through that and get over that hill? Has it been time when you had to call it quits or whatever? Or I more so want to, in your current relationship, I know there's been times. Hey, I love you, but right now I don't like you. How do you get through it?
I never liked her. Like, yeah, since the moment I met her, yeah, it was a thing where it was like I needed her, you know. So we got together and we needed each other more than wanted each other. Yeah, I met her. I didn't like her personality. I didn't like how she was, how she treated her friends, how she treated me. But one day we hung out. Yeah, like, and it just happened. Yeah. And from that day to now, it's like, yeah, it's been locked. Yeah.
So now, so on that, so you learned to like her.
No, I didn't learn to like her. I learned to love her.
Woo!
Yeah.
But
Facts.
But
So
are there times in the situation, and I'm not trying to be the devil's advocate,
No,
but are there times
right,
in your relationship where you don't like her, and how do you get through that?
I think my mindset, right, is it's a championship mindset, right? So so I need the championship, right? Like I could care less about if I like you today or like you tomorrow. You know what I mean? I know what I want. You know what I mean? I know what needs to happen. So I never sit there and think about like day in, day out. Yeah, like we argue day in and day out. Sometimes it's, you know, this little thing, that little thing, but it's never like something I think about long term. It's just, that's just today, you know? You know, that's not gonna stop what I want for 10 years, for 5 years, you know? My goals is my goals, yeah. So I never think about the person. It's never personal too, because girls go through a lot of things, you know? Yeah. And girls go through a lot of things.
That's awesome too, because
in a span of 30 days, a woman goes through a lot of different emotions, you know what I mean? You know, so you don't get the same girl on the 1st that you get on the 15th, and that's not gonna be the same girl that you get on the 30th, you know. It's always gonna be a different girl, because, you know, the way the cycle goes. So it's always different. So you gotta learn to love it. Yeah, you gotta learn to love it.
And you made a very good point about like y'all argue on a regular basis, and what I've like at least said with friends is that it's not the fact that you fighting, it's how you fight. Cause I feel like it's natural for you. It's hard to find somebody that you want to continue to fight with every single day. You know what I'm saying? And we could sit here and be arguing about like the pettiest thing, but the fact that we are even choosing to open up our mouths to respond to it is that commitment right there of like, I care enough to actually have a reaction. Whereas if
I just want to say one thing, right? A lot of times we don't celebrate, right? Like a lot of times we don't celebrate like the little things, like we just don't celebrate it. And we just go off and be like, yo, this girl did this to me, or this guy did this to me, and I'm petty about it, petty about it. But then when you turn, I mean, like if you flip the coin and you ask yourself, like, how many times did we celebrate the little things? Y'all didn't do it. So y'all missed all your opportunities to make it great. And now y'all just thinking about the bad times, because that's all y'all got to think about, you know? Y'all never made those great opportunities, you know, those great memories. So,
wow. And
well, that's
that's mentioned something
I was saying in regards to like just showing up. Just showing up. That's what I mean. Because you don't do things that you don't want to do. If you don't want to argue with this person, you don't love this person, you will literally stop and walk away. So the fact that you keep showing up, that's what I be saying.
You mentioned a really important part too. The championship mindset. It's like you went in committed. So it's like I'm gonna stick it out with you. Of course, it's to an extent, right? Like even though if you argue every day or every other day, it's still some type of healthy argument or some type of healthy love in the scenario. But the fact that you went in with that commitment mindset, that speaks volumes, especially in the times we're living right now.
But you also have to remember, right? Every argument is communication. So even if you're screaming, you have to listen to like what that argument is, you know what I mean, it's what that person is trying to express, even if they're expressing it with anger or whatever, you know what I mean, you have to understand it, because if you don't understand it, that shit's gonna keep on going and going and going, you know.
Or what I call the vortex, when you end up down this black hole where you're not even arguing about the subject anymore, you're cherry picking everything around it, and that has little to do with, you know, the real, you know, nitty gritty of what the issue is, more about ego.
And you know what I like to blame that on? I like to blame that on retrograde. So every time.
In what way?
Because, you know what I mean, sometimes it's just blame it on retrograde. Just let it blow in the wind. You know what I mean? Just blame it, that little patch that you had, blame it on retrograde. Yeah. Just let it go with that.
Retrograde, you like a paper cut, just jacking up everything.
Exactly.
Yo, you're at such a high level of peace. You're like, oh, you mad? Oh, you threw that at me? Blame it on retrograde. You'll be high in 5 minutes.
I get that though. I get that.
Check it. Yo, I knew this episode was gonna be fire. I knew this episode was gonna be fire. Yo, you know, I want to say, yo, you come from such a mature mind state. I learned something when the whole championship thing. I'm coming in committed. I love that. I want to be transparent for a second. And this doing this podcast with Kayla, I've learned so many things just based off of that. Even though we're not in a romantic relationship together, in this business partnership, we had to learn through communication. And there was times when we were handling business, and I'm sure at some point she didn't like me. You know what I mean? And she's like, I probably said something.
I told you.
Yo, how about Kayla was like, I don't know if we can do this anymore. That's what she told me. So question for you, Kayla, when that point came with me, how did you like overcome that? And I know we kind of found a way to communicate, but when you didn't like me for that instance, or you said maybe this is not working, how were you personally able to overcome that?
I had to sit down with myself. Sometimes you just have to really sit down with yourself and have a conversation. Journal and write things down so you can get to the root of it. I said, okay, what is really bothering me? Is it him? Is it the situation that just transpired? Because I took that one situation and just focused it as a whole, but it wasn't a whole thing. It was just that one instant. So I had to really keep it real with myself and be like, okay, are you tripping right now? Like, what is bothering you? So that's why I bring it back to self-awareness. Like, if you don't know yourself and if you don't know what you like or what you don't like, you're always going to be defensive and always point the finger at somebody else. So I just had to really keep it real. And also, yeah, got guidance from my sister. I'm like, okay, this is the situation. This is what happened. This is the part that he played. This is the part that I played. Talked to her, got advice, and then I brought it back to myself again and really sat in those emotions. Because I'm the type of person, before I used to ignore how I felt, kind of like, whatever, it'll go away. Now I sit in those emotions. So I can really, truly discover what's bothering me and overcome it. And that's what I did with that situation too. And that applies to anything, right? Business, friends. I learned that too. I was like, you know, I'm dealing with another male. And even though we're not like dating or in a romantic relationship, you're still the opposite sex. And I have to communicate, compromise, and understand where you're coming from as well. But also not to the point that is unhealthy for me. So it's all about a balance.
I have a few things, because you made so many actually great points. And one in regards of the journaling in the morning pages, it's something that, well, what you said, the journaling, I recommend a lot of times, sometimes to my patients, something called morning pages, where as soon as you get up in the morning, like the very, very, very first thing you get up in the morning, before you brush your teeth, before you do anything, is literally brain dumping, like writing down on a sheet of paper anything and everything that comes to your mind. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to like be cohesive. It doesn't even have to like really be full on sentences. It could literally just be notes. But you literally are able to hold yourself or review or hold accountable all the things that were in your brain or on your mind from the day before or a couple of days before, you know what I'm saying? So, and you don't even realize what you're carrying from throughout the week or throughout the day, because we are just so used to just getting up and go, just like I have this to take care of, I got this to do, I got to get it done. So I don't have that time to really sit here and meditate or have the woosah or whatever, but now I have to go in and show up and play into this role or, you know, be this person. And we talked about this before of just like, you hear from your parents all the time of like, you really do have to kind of love yourself in order to love somebody else. And truthfully, the way that you show up professionally and the way that you show up, you know, with just regular people on a daily basis is a direct like correlation and direct like similarity of how you handle your romantic relationships. And if you're carrying the stress and stuff from work or, you know, just dealing with a new scenario for the first time, right, you always are going to come off aggressive, and you always are going to come off where maybe paranoid or questioning the whole thing and not showing up 100% as your true present self. And that's what I think like is, and I actually wanted to ask Manuel about is that before you got into your relationship, and I would kind of like already know the answer because you said it, did you feel like you were happy even before you met her? That you was happy before you got into it?
That's a good question.
Yeah, always. Yeah, I've always been selfish.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm always in the peace. Yeah, I'm always about myself. Never worried about anybody else. Yeah, it's me, what I want, and how I want to get it done, and that's it. Yeah, I'm real cutthroat. I never think about the next person and what they do, and I never think about competition. I think about my goals, yeah, and then go straight to it.
Bada bing, bada boom. You gotta pour from a full glass. And there was I was in a group once, and there was this woman, Tora Sense, and she made us such a great statement, and I still hold it true and deliver it to my patients on a regular basis. There's two types of mindsets. There's scarcity mindset and there's an abundant mindset. Abundant mindset is I'm good no matter what happens. Right. Somebody come at me, I am the party. It doesn't matter if I go to the party and the party's whack, because I'm gonna have a good time because I made the decision that I'm gonna have a good time. So what? I lost that. More will come. Oh, I like this, so even if they don't like it, it's okay, because we'll roll with it. Nothing really affects you because more is coming, and it's fine. Everything that life throws at you, you're content. Whereas in the scarcity mindset is always nervous about what I don't have. Oh my God, why isn't he calling me? What's going on with this? Does he like what I'm doing? Should I change my hair? Should I get my butt done? Should I do this? Da, 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 da. And you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, this is what we talked about before about putting circles and squares. Now you're negotiating and trying to figure out a way to make this work, and trying to, write a narrative in your head or in the other person's head of is this for real, or is this healthy, or is this good? When at the end of the day, it's not that hard, bro. It's are you happy? Do you like them? Right. That's it. Just yes and no.
And it all starts with you, because I think the problem that a lot of people have is they're I just want somebody that makes me happy. No, I want somebody that's going to add to my happiness. I'm still going to be happy. I'm still going to take care of me. I'm still going to do the things I love, but I want you to add to my happiness. I can't just depend on you to give me that happiness 100%, because you could be gone tomorrow. We could break up. You could die. God forbid, anything can happen. And then I completely lose myself in my happiness. So it really all starts with you. Yeah. You want somebody that.
But abundance is grateful too. Abundance is grateful, meaning that I still think you're an awesome person. I still think you bond, all this stuff. But, we just may not necessarily be aligned for one reason or another. And that's cool. You're going to still be part of my tribe. We're going to still be friends. I might not even like you, like you said. I might not even like you in that moment, but grow to love you over time because of how you've shown your character and the things that you've done. And now we a team. You know what I'm saying? So,
I have a question for you. Has there ever been a point to when you basically was in a relationship and you felt you maybe throwing the towel too soon? Or maybe you got to the point where you say, I don't like this person, but you later regretted it and maybe saying, damn, I was nitpicking. Or I should have kept around longer than I could have.
Plenty of times. But I also have to be honest about where I was personally, and if I was truly happy and what was going on in my life at that moment, and how it played a factor into how I looked at this person. Because there's another great point of I see it a lot now of just objectifying relationships. And it's okay, he's dating me. He's supposed to be doing this. He should be doing this. Yep. He not buying me this. He not taking me there. He not calling me every day. Then I don't want it. And then it's realistically, but when you got sick though, did he come to the hospital?
Right.
When your car got broken down or whatever, and you had no one else to call, who was sitting on the phone with you until AAA showed up? Or who, when you got sick, really sent food to your house? You know what I'm saying? It's those real survival, being there when it matters, times that, and with age. And that really does, sometimes for a lot of us, that just comes with age and experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I got a question for you real quick, Hank. Playing devil's advocate, of course, but also just trying to get to the intimate. Are there any deal breakers for you where there's no love in the world that can heal this, or no like in the world? There's certain things that's unforgivable. It's I can't go on with the relationship any longer based off of this. Are there any deal breakers that all the love in the world can't heal? Cheating.
Right now, or in general?
So for me, I think a deal break for me, let's say if someone's unwilling to have a relationship with God, right? Someone's literally unwilling to go deeper than just on the physical side for me. When I see someone's not in that kind of thing, that's a deal break for me, where I'm I like you a lot, but I can't go forward. So for
Let me
you,
ask a question though, right?
yes, sir.
So like how far in the relationship are we speaking?
Even
Like
now, I want to know you currently right now. Is there
like you
something
build
that your wife
like
can
are you
do?
building like are y'all just like a couple? Because I feel like a lot of couples, a lot of people think that a relationship is just when y'all together. But if y'all not building together, if y'all don't got property, if y'all not trying to open up a business, something like that, y'all not really together. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, marriage is first step,
That
right?
part.
Like, marriage is first step to the business, you know? Now y'all, well, you mean like y'all married, that's the business. Now y'all got to grow after that. I mean, if it stays stagnant at marriage, then I don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? That's something that y'all got to talk about. That's the conversation y'all got to have. You know, like what we planning to do in the next 5 years, because y'all can't be just married, you know? That's not good enough. At least for me, you know, like I can't be with somebody and then it just be like, we just married. You got my last name, and you know what I mean? What we doing now? No, we got to build. Now we got to keep on going higher and higher and higher. I mean, we got to build that name, you know?
Right, watering each other's garden.
Yeah, and I think a lot of like a lot of people get more focused on like what this person could do for me, not what we could do for each other. You know what I mean? Like how could we build together? You know, like oh, I see this guy got money. I ain't got the money he got, but if I get with him, I can live that lifestyle. But it's like what like you think he really wants that, and vice versa. You know what I mean? I got a lot of friends that they be like, oh, I'm driving this girl's car, it's a nice car. And I'm like, bro, how you driving her car though? You know what I mean? Like I'm paying a lot of money for my cars, and you driving a girl's car because you dating her. No, I don't like that. I'm against all that. You know? Yeah, I like guys who's like, it's mine, and what's yours is yours, and we're gonna build from that. You know? I'm not gonna borrow what's yours, you're not gonna borrow what's mine. I get it. Like sometimes you do it because you're a couple. You know? I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying if you're gonna be with somebody, you gotta build. You gotta have something. You gotta give them something, and they gotta give you something. And I gotta keep on doing it until y'all reach the top. You know, like, you know, gift for gift until you get to the top. Even your friends should be like that. You know, like if you got 5 friends, like y'all should all put down maybe $10,000 each or $6,000 each. You know what I mean? And try to open up a shoe store, or try to open up a fashion store, anything. You know, try to open up something. Because why y'all friends for if y'all can't build?
I love it.
Y'all just gonna talk about nothing all day. You know?
So I have a question, because technically the question wasn't answered. Is in regards of what is your deal breaker? Like, okay, so I'll give you 2 ends. Wait, I'll give you 2 ends in the sense of let's first like when you're dating and you are getting to know them and you are in that building part, what is like a deal breaker for you? And then once you're actually in it, is there a deal breaker?
That's what I was going with it. Even currently, yes.
I don't see any deal breakers as long as you're staying to the task. You know what I mean? As long as we're getting shit done, I don't see no deal breakers. We could have that. You mean like we could have that communication? If you ain't happy about something, we could. You know what I mean? Like we could work something out. I feel like too many people want to own the person that they with, and that's not the way life works. You can't own that person. You gotta let that person live. You know, that person likes to travel. You gotta let them travel. That person likes certain kind of things. You gotta let that happen. You know, so that's how I feel. Yeah, you can't stop nobody. You can just slow them down.
So freedom. So you believe.
Like freedom
choppy,
is super important.
choppy screwed.
Can you hear me?
Mic check, 1, 2. What is this?
I can hear you.
Yeah, everyone can hear me?
Choppy, but it's her. It's choppy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
yo, one thing that I want to say that I love that Heck is saying, he's talking about when he says that champion mind state, that's that abundance mind state that Karina was talking about. That abundance, like seeing the long haul. And I'm glad that you gave that perspective of when people are thinking about the smaller issues and not worried about, like I said, the championship game, like where we're actually going with it. And as long as you keep the bigger picture in mind, you have something to look for. So I appreciate you sharing that. That's fire, brother.
No, yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Yo, it's getting hot in here. I love this show. It's getting hot.
Hold up. My internet's coming in and out, but I don't know if you can hear me.
No,
good?
Now you're fine. Okay. Now you're fine.
So I want to touch, because Hector and I had a really dope conversation yesterday. Oh, for those who don't know, Hector is my cousin. Yeah, the dopeness runs in the family.
Shout out to the Manguels.
Shout out to the Manguels.
Oh, yeah. Word, look, right there.
That makes sense.
Hector and I had a dope conversation yesterday, and we were talking about right? And it's like when you're in a relationship, it's okay to like somebody else from the opposite sex, and that you don't necessarily have to like them in a sexual manner. Like, oh, I like you, I want to date you and have sex with you. But sometimes you're like, you could tell your partner, like, I really like built a strong connection with this other person, and I would like to sit with them over coffee and go over business or just pick their brain. And Hector made a really good point. He's like, but your partner will get jealous. And that all goes back to self-awareness and insecurities. So you also have to not only build that trust, but also build that connection and get to know your partner and make sure that they're okay with your lifestyle. So Hector, I want you to touch a little bit more about that because you really broke it down so good yesterday.
Yeah, so like, then you put me on the spot, so now I have to think about this.
Let me say something really quick to add to that. Like, I've connected with men in my DM over a topic that I've posted, and it's like nothing sexual. You know, we're just going back and forth in conversation. And I'm like, oh, damn, like, you're dope. Oh, you're dope too. Likewise, would love to catch up with you one day. That, to me, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm single now, but whenever I'm in a relationship again, I would hope that my boyfriend is confident enough that he knows that I can have a conversation with the opposite sex, and that doesn't necessarily mean I'm cheating.
Yo, you know what's super important in a relationship is for you to let your person go out and feel sexy. Because after a certain amount of time, you can't do it no more. You could try, not working. You send them out and let, people, man, look at her, she cute. She gonna feel it, they gonna feel it, she gonna come back home, she gonna be happy. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta let them flow, yeah. You know what I mean? Let the butterfly go, let it come back. Yeah, I think people, a lot of males too, like I think a lot of females have, like they lean in when it comes to other women. So they're like, you know what I mean? I'll be her friend, blah, blah, blah. But men is like, I want to be the biggest alpha in the room, I don't want this guy looking at my girl, that, you know what I mean? And I learned to love the show. Like, I've learned to love, like, watching the girl I'm talking to walk through the room and the eyes glide. Like, yeah, that's mine. You know what I mean? It's magical because it's like, because it's walking to me. All the eyes that's following that person is coming to me. Yeah. You know? That's the most beautiful thing. Like, yeah, I think you, once you learn to love that, then you get to enjoy love. But if you don't get to enjoy, like, leaving the jealousy behind you, and you, like, it's too hard. It's too hard. Personally, I can't do it. Yeah, that's why I let everything go.
Yeah. I love your perspective is based on a bigger picture. That's why I keep on getting from everything you're saying. Just a bigger picture.
It's all about understanding too. Yeah, like a lot of people don't understand, and they don't try to understand the person that they with. Like they just think, oh, I want to control them, not listen to them, control them. They saying something.
Like the idea of it, and not the reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone told me, and I'm kind of just getting it now. They said, first, you're not always going to like your person that you're with, and it's like you said, it's back to that bigger picture. But that's just a part of the ups and downs. There are going to be some times I'm not going to like you. Your breath going to stink. You want to say something that's going to trigger me, and I'm just not going to.
Not the breath.
What? Hell yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? It's okay to take time away from each other.
Say that. Talk about it.
Yeah, it's okay to let somebody breathe and let them get their own fresh air, you know what I mean, and come back a new person. Because sometimes, like, you need to reinvent yourself. You can't just be the same person for a long time. That becomes cancerous, you know what I mean? That becomes toxic. So you got to let that, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you got to let that person go. Let them see what they're going to do. See if they can find better. Maybe they can't. Maybe they could. Maybe they're so used to you that you're the best thing in the world, But you got to let that play out,
I love your
say, right? Like, if you let love go and if it comes back as true love, so.
Facts of life.
I think, yeah.
Yo, we got so many quotables in this.
Facts of life.
Well, I'm like Cassidy. I got punchlines for days. No,
Yo, check it. I want to add something to this. In terms of that, when I'm learning, even taking it back to me and Kayla, when we went through that point of I don't want which one, contention, whatever you want to call it. Disagreements. What I learned is actually when it came out of it, I actually liked you more, Kayla, and it reminded me of actually having a fight with your friend. And sometimes even amongst men, we fight it out, like it may be a difference of opinion, but after that, you got off your chest what you have to say. I learned you a little more. I learned your love language. I learned your fight language. And also you learned something about me by the way I'm giving it up, by me just being transparent. And then you come out on the other side and say, whoa, like we fought together, but I actually like you more at the end. And there was a greater appreciation for conflict resolution and for the way the mind thinks after, because I understood exactly what it is. So I'm learning to get through those points of dislike, because on the other side, there's a love that's even greater.
Yeah. And you learn, and I feel like disagreements are good. Like, people want to be in picture perfect relationships. Like, oh, we're all, Instagram couple goals and nothing goes on behind closed doors. Disagreements are good because that's when you really learn each other and you learn how to communicate with each other. And it's like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about it from that perspective, but that's how you were feeling, or that's how you took what I said and interpreted it. And you realize nobody's wrong. We're just different, and that's okay.
Right.
It's a matter of learning and respecting each other, too. It comes with each disagreement. For me, it comes with a new level of respect, because one, I can respect that you're super honest and transparent with me, and you're also giving me that safe space to be honest and transparent with you. And two, I learned something new about you, and you learn something new about me. And it's either we're gonna like each other or we're not. So it's either that, either or.
Yeah. And that's the most important part, that safe space, because I feel like a lot of people don't have that safe space. They can't turn to their person and tell them what they really want to tell them because, too much fear. That's not
That's the thing, too, because transparency, I feel like, is the biggest, deepest form of respect that you can give somebody, is by, like, obviously having grace and having some poise when delivering it. Like, I've seen a lot of people use transparency as a reason to be jerks. But at the same time, like, at the end of the day, if you, how can I know how to love you right? And how can I know how to be a good friend to you? How can I know to be a good working partner to you unless I literally can see where you're coming from, or like have that mirror drawn back to me of like how I could have done it differently, or how it could have been addressed differently. You know what I'm saying? Getting that constructive criticism. That's why I strongly believe how you communicate within not just professional levels, but within your own families is a direct correlation of how you end up treating your relationships. Because if you really legitimately care, we're going to be communicating to find a solution, not to just be nitpicking around each other and going for the jugular. That's what I mean about, like, when you argue, if it's how you argue. Are you arguing to really get to the bottom of it and solve it? Or are we like milking 5 minutes of when your ego was triggered and now we're like just cherry picking about what you last said and, oh, I didn't do that last time. You always bring up that one moment. That was it. No, let's focus.
It's like, oh, I did that, but you did this, so you triggered me. It's like, really? So you bring up the past.
And the petty never wins.
Yeah, it needs to come.
The moment, the moment the argument goes into something from the past, I cut it off. If it's not about something current, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, that shit happened. We made that conversation. We did that. That's gone. Like, don't bring that back to me. Now it's this. But I don't. Yeah.
What I'm gonna take from this is about that championship mind state, having a bigger picture at mind, like know what it is for the long haul. And so often I'm quick to call it quits because it's something that's in the present, because I'm losing track of what the bigger picture is. You're triggering me right now, but I'm not looking at, like I said, I'm gonna carry that with me forever. That championship mind state. I'm worried about the game, where we're kind of going with it. And that's my takeaway from it. In this podcast, we do want to be solution-based and kind of learn how to do something better. So that's what I'm going to do something better. I want everyone to just kind of go into what do they plan to do better, or what's dead.
Before, because we're not done yet. There's 2 things we got to talk about. But one thing, since we already started, I'm going to put you in the spot, Josh. So being in love in a relationship, because you mentioned it, you're very open and honest about it, right?
I try.
So I want you to share a little bit more about that, how you feel like you can be in a relationship and not be in love with the person.
I can be in a relationship. To be very honest and very transparent, because that's what we're here for. I've always said I don't believe I've ever been in love. As of right now, I've never been in love. For me, when I say being in love, that's totally like letting go. I'm literally nitpicking and thinking about the smaller games and not the bigger picture. And I've never got to the point where I'm literally learning how to submit, worrying about the bigger picture. I've always been driven a lot of times in my relationship by fear, to where I've never allowed the bigger picture to take place. Call it thinking small. And that has been the reason why I think I've had good relationships, but then something comes up to where I'm very triggered by it. I think that's just a sign that we're not supposed to be together. And it's kind of almost like from the initiation of the relationship, my walls were up and they never actually coming down. So I believe being in love with someone is when you submit, allow your walls to come down, and that's when you're just being in love. And I don't think I've got that. But heck, what's up?
Yeah. So you said that your walls was up, but like, what was your guard up from? If you was just meeting a new person, right? Like, what was your guard up from?
Right. A lot of like as Kayla was saying, she started out, it was from self-awareness. Me like gaining a self-awareness that I have myself that I didn't have before when I was in a relationship. Okay. Me not having the confidence in myself to even say that I deserve someone on a great level. So I used to think the people that I used to pick were a reflection of where I'm at. And then sometimes I get in the relationship and I say, damn, I deserve so much better. Nah, I'm calling this quick because I want to go back on the market and go find what I really want. And I kept on just being a cycle of going on. But it starts with self-awareness, knowing what you like, knowing what you kind of want, and knowing who you are and presenting that. And then your match come up. But everyone I kind of met was just reciprocating that same kind of fear. So my walls was up based off of me not liking what I got, or me them showing the same love to me that I'm showing to them. And it was just me not genuinely open up or not even knowing how to.
Not knowing how to.
Yeah.
You got to know how to. That was deep. So do you think they were like relationship driven based off like and lust?
A lot of lust. Yes. A lot of lust. And that's how it usually even starts with the selection. It's based off. There's been times that I've been on a date with someone, and I know damn well I ain't got no business being on a date with someone. I know we're not in sync. I know there's no correlation, but somehow I'm there just because she's a beautiful young lady. Karina, what's up? You got something?
You kind of answered it already, but I want to just ask it directly. Do you think that you were that you allowed yourself, well, I won't say allowed yourself, but do you think that you were emotionally available at any point?
I thought I was, but actually no. I thought I was actually. Well, it was basically I was showing them the same love I was showing myself, and I wasn't really showing myself that same love, so I didn't even know how to project it. They were getting like literally when I have a haircut or I'm looking good, now I appreciate myself. Oh, now I'm the shit. So it's like the same way when it comes to women. I'm only appreciating her when she's dolled up. What about when she's in her regular state? What about her as a person, as a soul? And I wasn't appreciating my soul, appreciate who I was, and just regular. So yeah, like it goes back to that self-awareness. I love how we started out the conversation. You said that, Kayla. That's the root before you can even chimed into that, Karina. The way you kind of treat yourself, the way you kind of have that relationship with yourself, you're going to mirror that in your partner. And when I started to have a better relationship with myself, I have a better relationship with other people, not based off of just lust, but off of going through stuff and liking them and loving and longevity and championship mind state. Okay.
What I hear a lot of though too, like just in what you said just now, and I've seen it in other patients as well, is that I don't want to say self-awareness has a double-edged sword, but more, it's like anything, the more knowledge that you have about something, the more dangerous you have become, because now you know that it exists. So with self-awareness and having what I call tea with your demons, you know, your bad parts of yourself, but you put a little sugar in it and you've made it work for you. What I've is like on one end, you know, you're aware of your fallbacks and the things that, you know, you could or couldn't do, the characteristics that you do and don't want. But because of, like, again, I guess that still kind of falls within like a scarcity kind of thinking, because we're not emotionally available and we're questioning and we're doubting and so much and we're so cautious that there is no room for an actual exchange, because then it's like, okay, maybe I don't necessarily like this person off the rip, just like, you know, Hector had talked about before how he didn't like his girl in the beginning and then she grew on him. So if I initially am meeting someone, or you're initially meeting someone and you just even like 25% of them, but because you're already walking in with, remember I said before about the whole like people objectify relationships and they're just like, I've met this person, my friend told me he's single, automatically I'm looking like through like a checklist, like them shoes is enough, haircut, these clothes, no, 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 no. And then later on he does something nice, and it's something that I would like, it's something that we have in common, it's something that we both, you know, vibe off of, got a good personality and all that, but simply because it's like my mind has already checked it off as no, it's like, oh, well, why he doing that? Ew, he's so corny. Me and Matt extra. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen people like kind of throw away. Everybody else will see it and be like, yo, I could really see y'all together. Everybody just throw away really perfectly good situations simply because of an idea of who the person is supposed to be, opposed to then just, you know, allowing time and nature to do its thing.
Like that. Yo, Heck, you have something that you want to chime in on?
No. She got it.
Yo, I think.
But also, some people use lust against that person. Hector and I touched about that yesterday too. It's like you may meet someone who's super attractive, and that person is single. You automatically think, "Oh, you going? Oh, you talking to multiple people? You're single for a reason." That's a red flag. And it's like, I can't be cute and be working on myself. Like, I can't be cute and good for you. Like, we also lust as a negative.
It's true, because I said I'm such a personality whore that I could care less about how the person looks. It's more about like how they make me feel. Like if we can have a conversation that's great, I could care less about how you look. You know what I mean? It's more about that moment. So I don't know about like what my type would be, or what people say is my type. Is like my type is somebody who's fun. You know, somebody who's not gonna tell me no because they're shy. Like, no, break out of your shell. You know, live for me the same way I'm living for you. Like, you know, don't be afraid to live, because we both here together doing it together. You know, I'm your support. You're my support. You know, there's no like there should be no fear in love. It should be just straight. You know, you hold my hand, I hold my hand. We jump off the roof. You know, if we die, we die. You know what I mean, we die together. It's perfect.
Which
can I say, yo, I do
personality search, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, because a lot of dates start off in a restaurant. It's like, how you gonna, like, you know, like that's too much pressure at a restaurant. You know, a first date should be somewhere simple, you know, somewhere where y'all could take a stroll. Jones, you know, like when we were younger, you know, that little boy that used to walk you home from school, you know, and y'all used to talk about, you know, little this and that, you know what I mean? Oh, you coming to school, I'll meet you at the train at 7:30, you know, that's how it goes. It makes you feel good, you know what I mean? You wait for him, he waits for you, it's cute, you know? Nowadays, it's not like that. You know, as adults, it definitely ain't like that. As adults, it's like, give me what you can do for me, how, you know what I mean? And then it's like, no, this is not fun. Yeah.
I like that.
You need more than that.
Love that.
Yeah.
I know
you got to take it back to the basics.
And I completely agree with you in that sense of like I'm a life liver. I like the simple things that but for example, like I just got a new apartment, and I love the moment when like we're all eating takeout on the TV tray, you know, on top of the boxes, and we listening to music and just talk, no TV on, we just talking shit the whole time, just kicking it back and chilling. I love times like that. Like I grew up on Friday night card nights, you know, at my mom's house. So I love that. And I feel like if I can't date somebody who is not going to do karaoke with me. I can't date somebody that doesn't know how to laugh at themselves. I can't date somebody who doesn't, like, you know what I'm saying, do the funny ad lib when we're singing, like, you know, I don't know, a Luther Vandross song or something. I don't know. But I like the person, you got to be able to live life. I'm okay for, like, you know, chilling and, you know, having that close time, grinding, being serious, you know, and all that stuff. But memories, let them build, make as many as possible. Life is way too short. I want to be that 70, 80-year-old couple that's doing the cute little two-step dance in matching outfits at the family reunion. Like,
you really got to have that vibe check. Like, the vibes got to match. Like, if the vibes are not there, if we can't laugh, we can't kick it, and we can be kids again, then we can't date.
Right.
Yo, real quick, I want to say two things. One, you kind of glazed over real quick. I want to say congratulations. You said you just got your apartment. Yo, Karina, she purchased her first home. Congratulations to her. Like we're not just going to downplay that. That's a big thing. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The second thing I'll say, what I do in a relationship is what I kind of did on this show. It's how I think things should kind of go, and I kind of have an order. So when I saw the clock, it hit like 8:50, something like that. And Kayla knew exactly what I was doing. I was basically kind of wrapping up because usually we have an hour show. But in reality, it's about going with the flow and going. I have nothing to do. I have no rush. There's no reason why the show has to be an hour. So in relationships, I do that when it's not how I plan it, how I think it should go. And when it doesn't go in that kind of way, I try to control it rather than with going with the flow and just being natural and just seeing what the natural thing is. And I'm glad that Kayla put it back. And she said, hold on, wait, we still got more to talk about. Why are you rushing? I know what you're doing.
Yeah, I clown him because it's more, and you know, it's all about it's not bad, it's all about a balance. You know, any relationship, friendship, business, romantic, you need that balance. And Josh is more of, I need it written down on paper, and not that he's gonna go over a script, but he just needs to have some type of structure, black and white on paper. And I'm like that, but I'm also like, let's go with the flow and let's just fill it out, you know. So it's all about a balance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get the business done. I really enjoyed this. Thank you guys. It was cool.
Everybody's zodiac signs.
Libra.
I'm a Leo. Libra.
Okay.
And you?
I'm a fiery Aries.
Oh, you have a birthday coming up.
Yeah. I'm an Aquarius.
Yeah, Aquarius.
I love Aquarius. Y'all just don't like us. I love y'all because of y'all, like the way you think, but y'all don't like us because we be doing too much. And you need Aquarius like to chill.
No, Aquarius,
Aries
is a match made in heaven. No, it's a match made in heaven, such a fire in hell. Yeah, exactly.
Yo, how much do you think that actually plays into the compatibility? Is that a real thing for you? Like, is that something that you even check when you?
Yeah, because my lifer is an Aries. Her birthday's on the 19th. Yeah, so.
Hey, I'm 16. Yeah. Hey, so we got birthdays coming up.
Yeah.
Lit.
Yeah. I believe that controls a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
At the traits, absolutely. You can kind of like, I mean, I don't want to say that that's like the blueprint for everyone, but you can kind of get to know somebody, assume someone's personality if you look at their zodiac.
I've always said that zodiacs are they are the blueprint of your cosmetic DNA.
Yes.
So of course your background, where you were born, your experiences, that all is what's going to make you uniquely you. But certain things that are in your blood, that are in your sign, you cannot get across. Like, I know I have terrible patience, and I've been working on it my whole life. But I know that it's never going to get better because I'm an Aries.
That is crazy. Yeah. That anxiety, that Aries anxiety is bananas.
Yeah. But when I'm all systems go, we all systems go. Exactly. Everything, all 10 fingers and toes is on it. So.
You by your ear, y'all gotta do what I tell you to do.
But y'all Aquarius be unfazed. You are the definition of unbothered.
Oh,
like
I can't be. I mean,
I'm trying to reach that level of peace. He's like, oh, the world up. There's fire.
I'm just flowing. No, because I'm flowing water. I just flow with the water. You know, I keep on going. Yeah, keep on going with life. One day it will end, but I don't control that.
I'm learning how to just.
What I love about my Leos in particular, I love that my Leos, everything has to be perfect. It has to be right. And even when it comes to themselves, to the point that there is a little bit of insecurity there, but it's because they want it to be right and go well. So
I think that's with learning like control, and I actually like having to, and I'm learning to balance that. I'm learning to just kind of let go, to kind of sit back. Everything, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, because when it's perfect, it's not authentic. When it's not authentic, it's not fun. And I'm learning that flow is where even conversations come into play. Our best shows came from me not writing things down and just kind of going with the flow, and I'm learning that.
I'm like, don't write it down, don't read it. Like, it's in your heart and in your mind. You're gonna go with the flow, and it's gonna come out real. You know?
I think life is somewhere in between. It's literally the structure of it and actually having a direction to where, yes, there's some level of control, but the mastery is when you're holding on too tight and you're chasing perfection and you're not going into what's being authentic. Yeah. So my love was just being authentic.
It's all about a balance. As a Libra, I have to have everything balanced. If my scale is unbalanced,
I have such a love-hate relationship for y'all.
I'm going crazy.
My mother is a Libra. Two of my best friends are Libras. You guys are so loving and so giving and so like, I want to help you. I want to be included. I want to be there for you. You the definition of loyalty. The only problem is that you don't really advocate for yourself very well. And when you are over it, you are over it, honey.
Listen.
I am knocking over tables. I am kicking in doors.
I'm over it. I'm done.
Right.
Yo, I love this. Yo, real quick. One thing that, or one word of advice that you would give to the people, and also one thing that you're grateful for in this moment. Let's start with you, Karina. Go ahead.
Oh, well, grateful. I just like this because, I've been a social worker for about 12 to 15 years now. And I just like when we keep the village vibe, when people are exchanging resources, exchanging ideas, just working and talking together. Because truly, that we've, as a minority, we've lost that. But I feel like as a society, we've lost that. And that's why, like, it's good to be on the up and up and build and get more things and grow. But I always say, if I ever have children, I'm still sending them back to projects. I'm still sending them back to my mom's building, because they need to understand. Like, living in a building taught me that community vibe. That was my first real experience of like saying hello to your neighbors if you needed something to get fixed, or you needed a recipe or something, or just when your kids are having a hard time at school, what they went through and who they should speak to like assist. You really, my homegirl said it, reach one, teach one, right, Jay? Because that's the only way we gonna make it, seriously. So I just love this opportunity as a whole to like not only network and meet new people, but just like, get new perspectives.
Right.
No, definitely.
That was dope.
Heck, one word of advice and one thing you're grateful in this moment right now, bro.
One word of advice, I would say opportunity, the same way she said it. Yeah. And one word of advice, like a sentence or whatever, I would just say grasp every opportunity you can. Take it. Don't let nothing pass you. Be greedy with life. Take everything you can and build.
Coming to every blood clot team.
I come for everybody.
Just say your word of gratitude.
Every blood clot team.
Yeah, that's how I think about it. Yeah, like if you're gonna go for it, you gotta go for it totally. I mean, like 100%. You can't. I watch this show on Netflix. I think it's called Blind Love at First Sight or something like that.
Love is
blind. Love is blind. There you go. Yeah, and I love how they on in the pods at first and they're having the conversations. You know what I mean? And then they learn each other before they even meet each other, and then they meet each other, and it's like, this person isn't who I thought it was, and it's like, you thought you was, because that's what I think. I think who you thought you was, that you thought that you was gonna get this king of yours or this queen of yours. Like, you gotta, you know what I mean, understand who you are and understand what you put yourself in. Like you put yourself in something. So yeah.
It's Kayla Dela. Word of advice and one thing you're grateful for in this moment.
Wait, I have a lot to say. So, per usual, right?
She got for both sides of the scale. Yeah, go.
Scale, right. No, so one piece of advice, and I'm gonna say something that Hector said. Taking it back to the basics. Like, when I start dating again, I'm gonna be like, can we just go to the park? Like, don't even take me out to eat, because I feel like going back to the basics is going to unleash that safe space. Like, people could really be themselves. Because I don't know about you guys, but when you go to your favorite childhood place, there's no worries. There's no, I mean, we're adults or whatever, but there's no worries at the moment. Your guard is not as up because you feel comfortable and you feel safe. So definitely going back to the basics when you're going on a date. And another word of advice that I want to give is, that I mentioned earlier, don't view lust as such a negative thing. lust is not always negative. Lust is not, I feel like it's viewed as so sinful. Like, oh my God, we're lusting over each other. We're sinning. This is a bad thing. But in all reality, everything starts with lust. When you first meet someone, you're like, ooh, they look good. That's lust. I want to get to when you slide into the DM, ooh, that's lust. On a dating app, yep, I'm about to love your picture. That's lust. So just use it in a positive way. And I want my future partner to lust over me. If you don't lust over me, what's going on? What's wrong? Like, I need her to like me, love me, and lust over me. So that, and then what I'm grateful for is this moment right here. I'm grateful for you guys, for exchanging perspectives. I've learned so much from you all, and just grateful for community, especially in the minority communities. So we're really dope.
Amen. In this conversation, I've learned to submit even more how fun it can be to just kind of just let it flow. And I think
let it get weird. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Sketchy.
Can I say one thing?
That's something that me and Karina kind of joked about, but it's actually but that's something a lot of people have said about me, and I'm learning how to go into that life. But it comes to trusting myself. So I would say, as a word of advice, just trust yourself and know what your heart wants, and kind of let life or God figure out the rest without you trying to put everything in a box.
There you go.
And, I'm grateful right now for everyone who pulled up to this chat. I was so into the conversation. I wasn't scrolling down, seeing all of the different messages. I wasn't seeing all of the different comments. So if you commented, shout out to you. I appreciate y'all. This is what the podcast was for. We called it We Need Each Other Podcast because we need each other from a perspective standpoint. We need to know how the opposite sex thinks. We need to know how another person from another part of town thinks. And it's exactly what it's for. So I just want to thank y'all both, Karina and Hector. Y'all been awesome guests, and y'all are fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Wait, Hector, you had something to say. You said, "Can I say something?"
I'd love to do this again.
Yeah, but it's gonna start a whole new rant. I don't think y'all.
No,
just let it go. Let it go. Just let it flow. Go ahead.
All right.
We got time.
So what I was gonna say was that like lust, I think the true definition of lust is after you meet the person and you know that person, so you know what they're capable of doing, so you lust over that thought. You know what I mean? Like if you lust over somebody's exterior, then that's never gonna work. You know what I mean? Like that's life. Like you look at somebody, you view somebody, you say, oh, I like that person. They might be interesting, right? I like that person. You don't say I lust that person, because then where are you leading that to? You're thinking about it totally wrong. So that's all I'm gonna say is like if you like somebody.
I also think as you get older, you gotta change. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, as you're getting older, I feel like you change what you lusting over too. Cause I don't know, maybe I've reached that auntie phase where I'm like, oh, you talking about businesses? Oh, you talking about businesses? Oh, I love talking about money. Come on, honey. How you want to build an empire? Come on, let's do that. I'm all for it. Like that, yeah. And especially if you have a trade, like you have a skill or something, now, especially now with this house, like it's like, oh, you know how to change floors? Oh, how you doing, honey? My name is Rena. I'm an Aries. I like long walks, We can have all the time in the house.
Oh, wait a minute. You into HVAC? Okay, let me get to know you real quick.
Right.
I was like, oh, wow, make me blush. Stop it.
I knew this show was going to be fire. I knew it. Y'all have provided so much value. This has so much replay value, and I'm going to replay this back to kind of get the game all over again.
And
I appreciate y'all.
Next time we got to all get together in person and have a live show in person. We're going to plan that.
Say that.
Definitely.
Miss Kayla Dale, any final words before we get out of here?
No, just thank you both so much. Like, we really, really appreciate you guys. This episode was so dope. Thank you.
Yo, till next time, this has been another episode of We Need Each Other Podcast. Boom, 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 boom. Yo, till next time.
Right.
Wow,
bye.
Peace.